morning, Kelly Springer.
Good morning, Ellen Brown.
It is our second week of unprocessed and unfiltered.
Loving it.
And so, for anybody that's joining this week for the first time, we created this show under the idea of food is health, which is that we want it to become hard to make a bad decision at the grocery store. And we are really focused, I think, what a lot of people are not focused on, which is instead of avoiding junk food, instead of avoiding eating unhealthy, how do we really use food to optimize our health? So it's not about another diet or more rules or some specific way to eat. It's understanding how to be the best, healthiest version of ourselves through the food that we eat. And I stumbled into this. You and I have had a long relationship together, and we finally have a way to collaborate. And so here we are. So we have a live audience. We have a lot of people. Anybody who's on this morning, please, send us your comments, throw in your thoughts, any questions that you have for us. So, Kelly, tell me, you were going to tell me about something that happened this week.
Yeah. So just yesterday, I did a presentation on this topic particular at our local community college. So there was a mixture of staff and students in the room, and this topic just really hit home. And I went around the room after I got done presenting and said, "Tell me one thing you learned." And so much of it was exactly this. It's not about restriction of where we were with dieting before. It's about the quality of what we're eating. And so that's where I just kept bringing that point home. And this topic that I did yesterday was nutrition as it relates to mental health. And so I was able to
Interesting.
talk about, yeah. So I was able to talk about how food in particular works to create the neurotransmitters and like how cool science and how nutrition is, but how we need food to do just that. So it was so awesome just to see the light bulb turn on with all of these, the mixture of the staff and students. And they said afterwards, like, more people need to know about this. Like, how do we get you in front? And I was like, I know. And
And I
but
told you on Sunday, I met a woman who has a show on Newsmax. She has a
yeah,
lot on Newsmax, and she lives right near me, and she's all excited to collaborate with us. So soon enough, we'll be on Newsmax too.
I love it. But this message, just people are, and I said, I go, this is going back to the old Weight Watchers days where you would save all of your points to have the chocolate cake at the end of the day. And so that's how we were raised in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s was about restriction. And that's what we were just looking at calories. And that's what dieting was. Where now we're really understanding anatomy, physiology. We're understanding how the body works. We're understanding the microbiome. We're understanding that nutrients, vitamins, proteins, all of that comes together to actually fuel the body. So
It's
I
how we
think
used to get it's how we used to get our nutrition, right?
yes.
We didn't have a supplement stack back in the 1800s. There was no supplement stack. The farm is where the supplement stack came from. It was we went out, so we didn't need red light therapy because we spent our time out in the fields, right? And but that wasn't scalable. That's what Carter and I under Food is Health refer to as System A all the time. We then created what we have today, which is really to scale everything up, was solve for famine, right? To make sure everybody had enough food, all those things.
So, did you see so one of my favorite shows, and sorry, I'm going off on a little tangent here for a second.
I'm gonna
Um,
get in
but
trouble when we do our after action review, Kelly.
I know, but I'm gonna go off for 1 second because just on Sunday, my very favorite show is Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley, and I want to be Jane Pauley someday. So if anyone's watching,
Really?
yeah, I
Okay.
really want to be the host of that show
Okay.
because I learn something every single Sunday that I watch it. And this Sunday in particular, it was about grains and how we get rid of the bran and the germ, which are the good part. And if we were able to keep that in, we would be able to increase fiber. We would actually get 30% more food to people. We would have less, we could bring more of our wheat fields down and turn them into
I'm
wetland.
grabbing something while you're
Oh,
finishing it.
so it was, again, I love the show, but it was so dead on of understanding nutrition of the grain. It was like so well done. of him explaining the difference between a whole grain and a not whole grain and like, how we actually could be getting way more nutrition to Americans.
So, perfect example when we're talking about bulk and fiber, right?
Mhm.
Is this is psyllium husk. So, if anybody has ever seen this, we talked about this last week. This is
Yeah.
psyllium husk. I'll put my fingers in it because it's mine, but you guys see how this is. This is literally putting what Kelly just talked about back into my gut. That's how decimated and processed our food has become. Is that instead of eating a piece of now I'll get Ezekiel bread any day. So Ezekiel bread is like, right, it's seed, it's unprocessed, it's amazing bread. But nonetheless, because our food, even the best of the food, I eat predominantly whole food, we still don't have the kind of diet with enough fiber that like I eat this like I drank it this morning.
But this is the problem and that the lady like, one of the comments yesterday was, "I didn't realize that fiber is a prebiotic," that's the word,
Yes.
and I didn't realize that that's what feeds those gut bacteria, the probiotics. She goes
Yes.
she's like, "I didn't understand any of that." And I'm like, "I know."
I
That's
know.
why.
Well, and so let's tie this thread further.
Yeah.
Right, and so, I love this. The people are rolling in with comments, so I'm stopping myself for a second, but I think it's just really funny. So, nutrition is a function of where you are on the income scale. Race, gender, or political affiliation do not impact healthy households. And I agree with that. And that is why I said what I did before, which is what Carter and I are working towards with Food is Health is to get affordable nutrition at scale to everyone. So I am not focused on teaching people about saunas and red light for the sake of saying you should go get one because so many people can't. It's instead having the conversation around this is the form and function of what that delivers and how do we solve for that at scale with our entire population. Everyone can't have a sauna, but how do we come up with a lifestyle that gets us what that sauna is doing or at least understand the function? Like I just want to be clear and the same with food. Like we're not proponents of, oh, everybody should go buy this certain food, but then that excludes 90% of the population. Like
It's about
that doesn't work.
education. It's about education. So in the room
Correct.
yesterday, we had all different socioeconomic. We had people that are really in food insecure zones to the staff, okay? And it was truly about education so that when you are looking at food, you understand what to purchase. So instead of buying a frozen bag of broccoli versus the Fritos, this is actually giving us health, nutrition, fiber, vitamins, minerals. This is actually not giving us
And
anything.
bulk.
But
I
it's about education, and this is where people don't know, and it doesn't matter what socioeconomic I don't care if you are a medical doctor or lawyer or if you are scrubbing floors. The education has been missing. The education is missing. It is very confusing, there's mixed messages, and we are here to educate.
so
There's my
really, really good stuff coming in, Kelly. Like really good stuff coming in on the comment thread here.
good
So
because
um
it's not even about the red there. It's not about that. It's about general education that people are missing.
it is. Although I'll push back on that and say it's a little more complicated because it goes into the structure of our food and the pricing of our food and the system of our food. And I again don't want to we could spend the next 2 hours breaking that apart. I
Yeah.
think I just want to layer in the education. You're 100% correct, but they're in that education front. For example, you went down a little bit of a rabbit hole.
Okay,
I'll go
go.
down a little bit of a rabbit
Okay, go.
hole. And then I'm going to bring in some of the comments here because they're very relevant. And, we'll just go our after action review for this is going to be a disaster. Michaela's going to say, "What just happened on this episode?" And I'm going to say, "This is how Kelly and Ellen roll. This is our show. It's fine. We aren't it goes where it goes." But I just wrote up there's um there was a gift given to an organization, a $50 million gift around food as medicine. And I will give no more information than that because it's all confidential, whatever. And I was asked to put together a brief around how that could be used because of what we are working on, which is food is health, not just food is medicine. So I brought this up last week. I will bring it up again. My most devastating moment in this work was when I was having a conversation with somebody who had graduated out of a food as medicine program. It was at the graduation. And I, the Pollyanna that I am, asked, how is your life going to be different now that you have learned exactly what you're saying, Kelly? You have learned how to eat. And the answer was, I have to go back to how I was eating before because I can't buy my own food. I don't have the money. I don't have access to food in general. It's not even that I have SNAP or any of those things, right? I don't even have access to the food. The food that I have access to is at food banks, is at soup kitchens, and that is all food that typically is highly processed. It's cheap calories, right? All of these different kinds of things. And so that's a piece where I'm adding that to your point about education, which is you could put people into a food as medicine program, but then you shoot them out after 6 months. And if you haven't figured out how to, in the community, integrate all the way through, like work with the community to say, how do we get healthy food pantries for people? How do
Yeah.
we, all of those types of things. I think that's the part. And that's why food is medicine it's a downstream intervention, just like every other healthcare intervention was like we pay for it for some period of time and then people are dumped back out. Now, I'm not going to go down the food as medicine rabbit hole because I know some of the best food as medicine programs in the country. Have worked with them, have helped them. Like I know how to make them sustainable. But for the most part, they were based on food insecurity, which is a bit of a flaw in terms of business model because it's not viable, right? So again, I didn't mean to go down that whole rabbit hole, but
No, I
I
know, I know. I mean, we're working with the 1115 waiver right now, and I guess my frustration was just yesterday, they said, "We're just here to give people food, not the education." And I'm like, "You're missing a whole part, though." Like, like, the education needs to be coupled in with giving food.
yes,
And it was just really disheartening yesterday. It was actually a really tough call. Um, and that's what I just wanna put out there. Like, it just I guess
yeah, we all see it. Like we see it.
yeah.
So on this thread, I think I'm going to ditch my plan. I was going to talk about AI nutrition, but I think I'm
Oh,
ditching.
no, I think we need to because I just watched this morning, I did a deep dive. So many posts were coming up because they're saying AI did you see all the research this morning?
No,
The whole
okay, wait. We have to stay with one thing. We might have
Okay,
just okay. We'll actually be in the same physical space next week together for the first time in like months. So since I'm coming to Syracuse and my son can tour Syracuse University, so I'm coming on Sunday and Monday, and so Kelly and I are going to do our episode together in person Tuesday morning, live from Syracuse. But I do want to stick. I think we only have 14 minutes left, and I think I want to give AI full. I want to give it
okay,
full
we'll
power.
put it on pause, we'll keep going here.
So,
Okay.
so let's just stick with this. So, um, Megan Rector, I just have to throw this out. This will make you smile, which is that she said, "I love that show, Kelly. I saw the grain episode as well."
Isn't it great? I really wanna be Jane Pauley, I'm telling you, I love that
Um,
show.
and then our friend Christo, I'm so happy he's here. He said, "How can we?" I love this because okay. And then I'm going to answer it quickly and then hand it to you. So he says, "How can we make the top 30 this goes to your education point. How do we make the top 30 healthiest foods on planet Earth simple and sexy?" So first of all, we talked about some of this last week, Christo. Like we talked about sardines, we talked about liver, we talked about some of the foods that have some of the highest nutrient density on the planet and how they are crickets are like way up there on protein. I know I'm gonna like gross everybody out, but just pause for a second. Let me say this: is I'm excited we're having this conversation today. It's very timely because the Doman Foundation, a lot of people don't know about them. It's DOHMEN, but they have been created to do exactly what you were talking about, Kelly, which is educate people on this very topic. And in Nashville next week for our Food is Health live work that we're doing, like Carter and I are going to be there. We have the Innovation Lab all morning. It's a kind of it's part of the event, but it's a separate ticketed event. We're going to be talking about all of this, system A, B, and C. How do we move to food as health? How do we move our food system back and move upstream and that whole new economy? And then we have an all-day track on the second day, the 30th, on the entire storyline of what 2050 could look like when it becomes hard to make a bad decision at the grocery store. I'm like super pumped. There's also a regular track, just so everybody knows, like a regular food is medicine program there as well. But in that, we're getting together with at dinner with some investors, and that those that are just kind of focused on how do we fund this infrastructure and this new economy, not from a philanthropic perspective necessarily. It's going to be a mix, and I think that Endowment shared in some of these conversations that they're getting ready to roll out an entire public awareness campaign. So, like
Well,
I
I
said to
wanna
them a
be
year ago, we should have a Super Bowl commercial, and they're like, oh, well, we might do that. So,
well, I wanna be involved, and that's why I'm here on this show. So, yesterday's conversation, like I said, for the presentation we did exactly what you were asking the person that wrote that comment. How do you make it sexy? You actually give the the cool chemistry behind it. So what I said was dietitians for years have been saying eat fruits and vegetables. But what I did yesterday was say why? Why do you want to eat fruits?
yes,
How does it actually work? And I'm like, it's so cool. When you eat fruits and vegetables, it actually neutralizes those free radicals and gets it out of the body. You can protect your heart, you can protect your brain. And that's why broccoli's cool. And so, but that's where you could see everybody's brain like pop open yesterday of like, oh my gosh, this is why I need to do this. This is why this is going to work in the body. But again, I feel like we've been throwing out words or we're saying to do something, but there hasn't been the how or the why.
it's
And
it
so,
because it's largely. I think you're making me realize something because I'm doing something right now on a personal level. I'm perimenopausal. I I love my guns and they're not what they used to be. I lost 5 pounds of muscles over the last 6 months because I wasn't eating the way to maintain my muscle mass. It's just a habit I have. I grew up in the Kate Moss era where you just, you want to lose weight, you don't eat. It's very unhealthy. Um, but what's really interesting about it is my whole premise of why I started originally this idea was vanity, right? I want to look better. I want this to fit better. I want to whatever. But what's fascinating is when I went really deep, and this will kind of tee up AI for next week, but you know, when I went really deep down the rabbit hole for health optimization with all of my health records in Claude, I went into it and said, now I want you to talk to me about how I can eliminate some of these deficiencies, some of these problems through diet. I think there's an important piece here, which is long ago, I shifted from food being really a form factor to food being a function factor. And it is a hard thing to do because the food industry has created it as a form factor, right? Which is like that looks really appealing. It has that bliss point that they've truly manufactured for, like all these things. But
mhm.
real food is equally attractive when you get there, which is Christo's point, which is like we need to and then yeah, anyways, there's like so much here I need to like go back. But like Megan said, the actual function of food 100%, right? Like
Yeah, and that's where we can make it sexy, and I'm telling you, it's so cool when you can actually dive into anatomy and physiology and see how the body works, and you understand it at that level. This morning, I was watching some girl, she made a song to the Krebs cycle and, like, made it cool and
no.
yeah, like, I was actually scrolling this morning, which was not good, but I just think that we can make this so much fun. We can put it to songs. We can make, kids understand it. We can make foods taste really good.
Well,
And
here,
so I just
I have to show you this. Keep going.
okay.
I know I'm like the horrible co-host for you. Sorry, but this is
No,
me
no, no,
live in
no.
person.
I just I know every time I can present, like and again, I hopefully will be on a much larger stage very quickly, but there's just ways that we can get the message to make sense for people. And it's not about perfection. It's about truly making these like little changes. Okay, I see your picture.
You see the picture?
Yeah.
So for everyone on today, this is Stephen Ritz, the big green Bronx machine. He has changed food in schools. This is literally school lunch that he is driving up in New York. I mean, look at this, Kelly. And you talk about this goes back to Krista's point about making it sexy. Like, does this not? I mean, this looks good, does it not?
It looks delicious.
Like, even if you're used to eating Doritos and stuff, you'd be like, "Oh," right? And then I can show you, I'll pull up another picture in a minute of Bob Jones' produce when he turns his produce into these beautiful trays that aren't just like a normal, slice and dice or whatever. So let's talk about the nutrition that's on this plate for a second. So
So,
what
number
what
1,
is
what stands out is color. Color is so important to understand, and also variety. They're learning so much about the digestive tract and the gut microbiome, and having variety of the different types of vegetables is actually creating more diversity in our gut, which helps with our immune system, which help makes our serotonin levels. So when we correlate again with mental health, right here, what I'm seeing is a reduction in inflammation, reduction in those free radicals, and also an increase of that fiber source, which helps create that microgut biome. So I'm seeing, like, just seeing that picture alone is giving me all of that. It's giving me that whole, I can see that instantly as a registered dietitian. I can look at this and go, this is what it's giving me. So we need to teach the kids, like, this is what this is, right? So if we can make it sexy and also it's positive peer pressure, right? So look what I'm doing. This is what it's benefiting me. My skin looks better, my hair looks better, and you can get all those teenage kids turned over if you even focus on that. Make it sexy.
I love that. I love that. I was gonna show you the other thing, but it's gonna distract me to get over there. So let me get into some of the other points that are on here. Um, so we've got in here, I think this is a really so we've got 6 minutes left. And I
Okay.
think this is a good one to go down. Well, first, let's do this. Let's talk about fiber for 2 minutes and the
Yep.
importance of fiber. You hit on this. And I think for people that are listening that want to learn something,
Yes.
is just talk a little bit more about the importance of it and how much we should be getting. Because I know even though I eat a completely, basically whole food diet, not plant based, but plant predominant, I still have a hard time hitting the mark on the fiber that I'm supposed to be eating.
It was a huge piece in our talk yesterday. So fiber is my favorite F word. If I could get people to eat more fiber, that's gonna be my hat.
Oh my gosh, I love you so much.
And if I could get people to eat more fiber, we could truly prevent chronic disease. Fiber is the key. And that's where yesterday, when I was showing my plate, I was showing that 75% of the plate is coming from plants. And so every dietitian is plant based. That doesn't mean you need to be vegan or vegetarian, because animal protein does have its place. But every plant based food, from whole grains, fruits, and vegetables, naturally contains fiber. Now, yes, Ellen, you are correct. Most Americans don't know what foods have fiber. So when I go in for talks, people are like, no, I get fiber. I have salad every day. Oh, salad is not really getting you that high of fiber. So understanding that beans,
I'm grabbing
lentils,
another one for everybody.
okay, so this is where understanding where does fiber come from, and we want to get about 5 to 10 grams of fiber per meal, not per day, but per meal. Fiber helps to go into the body, it cleans things up, it triggers to make our amazing HDL cholesterol like a recycling truck. It picks up all the gunk and brings it back to the liver for recycling. It helps build our microgut biome. So when we eat fiber sources like the fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, we can only break down so much, but guess what? Those little bacteria, they take the fiber and they break it down even further, and we get this thing called butyrate that creates our microgut biome. That creates the mucosa layer for our entire immune system. So this is why fiber is so critically important.
So this is my go-to.
Lupini beans.
Lupini beans. I brought this up before, but the only downside of this version, which by the way, I've been trying to do from dry, and you have to soak them for like a week and a half. You change the water every day.
Yeah,
And I
they're in my fridge. As my Italian husband, they're always in my fridge.
but anybody who's watching, these have a ton of folate and a bunch of fiber.
So
I don't
let's talk about
so
folate. Folate again came up on our talk
real
yesterday.
folate, not fake folate, because I learned I have to be careful. I have a deficiency because I have the methylation genetic
Yeah.
problem. So I can't eat things with fake folate, with added folate.
No one should be eating things with fake folate. That's another that's
And we only have 3 minutes left. Like, I'm so glad we have a regular episode because obviously
I
we
know.
need to talk all the time. Okay, so that was our that was our see, we're just coming up with a new show format today. This is like we're just coming up with a new one. There will be no after action review. We will just come up with a new one using today. Every week
I
it'll be
hope
different.
and again, do a thumbs up in the chat if you learned one thing from today's presentation, and that's my goal here is,
Okay.
again, as an educator, like, did people learn something from today's presentation? Like,
We'll see
did
if I
you
get
learn
any. Oh, we got a heart. We got one heart.
okay,
Got another heart. So we got at least 2 people. 3
okay,
people. They're coming
okay,
in. They're coming 4 people. They're coming in now, Kelly.
okay.
5 people. So you should feel good. Yay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're making Kelly's day. Okay, I'm gonna hit these last comments now.
Okay.
Joanna has put in, I'm a primary care provider at a community income with mostly low income patients, and I want to bring this education to my patients, but I'm worried about access. So Joanna,
Oh,
you should email me because I can connect you or Kelly. You
yeah.
should email either of us. And I'll put my email in the chat. I'm a little worried about this because I feel like I might get spammed, but I already get spammed already.
Yeah, and you
So
can
I'm
put
just gonna
mine
put
into
what's
Kelly
yours,
Springer
Kelly?
Kelly Springer at live.com.
Kelly
And
Springer at live.
yep, Kelly Springer at live.com. You can email me. We have an entire platform. We have a nonprofit, so we can donate our platform for self-directed learning.
Yep.
And then we also take commercial insurance and Medicaid and Medicare. So
And then I
definitely,
have a whole network of the infrastructure of how to get the food in, the food is medicine behind that nutrition program and the behavioral change. So Joanna, that answers that. And then there was also a comment made. You'll like this. Megan did say, I want to design a sunshine for the show, which of course made me super happy. Please design a sunshine for the show. I love this. Make it a broccoli, make it like a sunshine broccoli. You guys really opened my mind of what food actually is. And then Joanna said, this is true. My patients are always asking about how to do a detox, but they're eating garbage food.
no,
So I think that's really important.
we're here for
Maureen
you.
Elliott said, I believe Mayo Clinic had an article to drink 4 ounces of kombucha. Um, More didn't make a difference than eating 30 different vegetables, nuts, seeds each week to feed the good bacteria. So, like doing a combination. And I have a whole jar. I got a thing of fresh kombucha. I try to make it. My
But
family's always making
remember,
fun of me.
this is again, this is where it gets confusing. Kombucha is the probiotic, the fiber is the prebiotic.
Okay, that was super important.
So
That was like,
again, people are really confused on this. Probiotics are the bacteria, prebiotics are the fiber. The fiber feeds the bacteria. You need both.
I love this. Okay. Kellyanne did ask a question, which is a really good one. And then I'll make sure I didn't miss anything. Can certain spices be part of fiber based plants?
Say that again?
Can certain spices be part of fiber based plants?
If you eat the
I'm
plant.
gonna say I'm gonna answer it the way I think it might have been intended to be asked, and you can ask again if I said it wrong, which is I think you can add if the question is can you add spices to fiber-based plants to make them more flavorful? Yeah,
100%. And you're also getting that's an antioxidant as well.
exactly.
So you're getting like that's a double win.
Exactly. So, anyways, all right. This was
Thank
episode 2 of
Woo!
Unprocessed and Unfiltered. I won't be able to run. Oh, here we go. You have pre, pro, and postbiotics. The
Yes.
last is the poo of the bacteria. And they're very important for your microbiome. And
Yes.
by the way, I don't think I told you this, but I actually, and this, I understand there's a lot of flaws in this. So I don't want to say everybody should go out and do this. But because of the work that I'm involved in, I wanted to do a test. But I did a gut bio test and I had to collect poop.
Yeah.
It was traumatizing. I had to collect my own poop. So, anyways, Maureen's asking, I'll end it on poop, right? But in
Okay.
what better way? But you and I can't go to my pantry next week. I'll have to go to your pantry. So I'll have to like do a pre-shop of your pantry so that if I need to run over and like get something to bring out to show people. Maureen says, how do we see a replay? The answer is it will be on our Substack, foodishealth.substack.com. I'll put it in here. There is now a section at the top that is called Unprocessed and Unfiltered. Uh, I am going to set up a podcast. We have to figure out the podcast channel for you guys, but we will have it published on the Substack itself for now so that you can replay it. And then we'll get it out on YouTube. And I'll hopefully figure it out in the next week. It may take a couple just because I'm going to be on the road starting on Saturday for 8 days. The other thing, anybody who's interested in regenerative farming is shoot me an email. The email is in the chat. I can give you a code for 10% off of Regenify America, which is being held in Bandera, Texas at Sovereignty Ranch, which is Ryland Englehart. Kelly Ryerson will be there, our bestie. Aaron Martin, who's big in food as medicine with regenerative and behavioral health, or behavioral modification. I've worked closely with her. Carter and I are actually going to that. So we have Nashville, and then we leave at 9:40 that night, fly to San Antonio, and then we're going to be at Regenify America, which is going to be an amazing event as well, where you can buy Molly Englehart's, which is Ryland's sister, the best sauerkraut ever. It's talk about gut. I'm going to bring back like jars of it. So Sue says interested
Love it.
in the farming industry. So it is, anyways, I will drop a link. Let me see if I can do this now. So how do you want to close this? I'm
Well,
over, of course.
I'm just really excited, and each and every week, invite your friends, tell them about this show. We're going to be, really getting into a lot of different things. So spread the word, repost us out, people that you're watching, because Ellen and I are dedicated to changing healthcare. And that is my whole mission in life is to truly get people healthier and to educate. So I appreciate this opportunity to be able to do that.
So, Joanna, she said, will this only be on Tuesday? For now, yes. I do suspect, though, given Kelly and I's travel schedules, that there will be modifications and we will be on other days. Last question for everybody that's still on, 5 minutes later than we promised. Does anybody have any question? Does anybody want us to cover something in particular next week? Throw it in the chat now. Right now, I'm thinking AI and healthcare. I mean, AI and nutrition. But if anybody wants to throw something out there that they want, or if they have a food question, like a particular food they want us to talk about or something, I'm getting no comments. I think maybe everybody has left. I'm going to give it another minute. I did just put the link to the Regenify America event and the code in there. Okay, here we go. Calorie counting. Do you agree with it? We're not answering it. We're recording these, Kelly. So
Okay.
calorie counting. Do you agree with it? We can cover that next week.
Yep.
Anybody else have any other questions that they want us to potentially cover in next week's episode? Going once, going twice. Sold.
No, that'll be good. I'm excited to talk about that.
Okay. Episode 2 in the books, Unprocessed and Unfiltered with Ellen Brown and my co-host.
Kelly Springer.
Yay. So, Kelly's Choice, foodishealth.substack.com. More about poop, Bristol
Yep.
stool, and then people eat in repertoire. How do you influence? These are all
Okay.
really great topics.
Great
Fermenting,
topic.
everything's rolling in. I think there's a little bit of delay between the
Yes.
talk and the live. So, okay, we have like really good. I'm going to copy these right now and send them to my assistant, Thomas.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day,
Have a
Kelly.
great day.